Okay, this Daughters album, I'm not even gonna like do an introduction, but this is some good shit right here. Like, wow, this was relentless. It really just tapped into that like inner section of my like body or something. Like, everything about this album was just unbelievably potent. Okay, so if you didn't know, Daughters are a noise rock band that I discovered them actually only a few months ago through like a few music folk. Josh, the blogger, shout out to him. And I just went into it thinking, it's probably just going to be like some, any other noise rock band, but I'm sure I'll find some enjoyment out of it. But actually, you know what? I thought there was a lot more to take away from the self-titled album than I expected. I mean, just as a vocalist, the presence he has on the microphone is so commanding. It's like he's got such a well-spoken, delivery that I really like about him. Self-titled just ended up easily being like a 2010 album that I think I slept on for far too long and would easily be in my top 10 of that year now. And so, of course, this latest album was getting so much praise prior to the release because, of course, it leaked. I was just going into this one thinking, holy shit, this is going to be some shit right here. I was worried that the hype was going to completely overtake what the quality of the album would be, but no, it just never did. Like, this is an album that's getting all the praise it absolutely deserves, and I just hope it continues to carry on and nothing really stops it, because it's just a fantastic noise rock release. Like, this has got to be up there with some of the best noise rock albums you're probably gonna hear. It has a really unique sound to it. Like, some of these tracks just have crunching instrumentals that almost sound like fucking chainsaws are being played in the background, and everything is just like crashing into each other, but yet it feels so controlled. It's not like all over the place, like perhaps like a maybe like a Ken Mode album where everything's just kind of in your face. Everything's in your face here, but it has a very controlled, relaxed approach at the same time. The opening track has this really slow, eerie, and I mean eerie build to it. Like, it is unbelievable. The vocals, everything about this track sort of reminds me of some Slint maybe, but just like amplified so much more. It is chilling, man. It is absolutely chilling. I cannot believe how this track just reaches into my ears. But then they completely just explode on the next track. The track's instrumental, I swear, is just anxiety. Like, this track sounds like anxiety. I don't know how, but I feel like things are just not going right in my mind whenever this track comes on. It is such a strange experience. And the lyrics on this one are really interesting. The way he's saying, like, remember, these are just words in a song, so don't play along. I do feel like he's kind of tapping into that sort of like relatability thing that people have with music. They hear something that might sound like it's similar to them, but he's kind of playing to this idea that no, you shouldn't be playing along to this. This shouldn't be something that you should be feeling. This isn't good. Or at the same time, it could be the way he's looking at it as if these are words in a song, don't take it for real, it's just art, it's not necessarily, the truth or anything like that. It's a piece of art. It doesn't always mean it's valid to real life. Really interesting lyrics here, but the way he's like wailing over this song as well, like, this guy has such a way of like manipulating his voice and just kind of screeching at times that just feels so organic and genuine. It's pretty crazy, and also like sends this like horrible feeling whenever he does it, but at the same time I just can't help but commend how fantastic this band is. They just are brilliant. Satan in the Way is like the Halloween anthem if I've ever heard one. Jesus Christ, this track, again, like, the instrumental just has this really like haunted mansion type feel. It's really like ghoulish, and the way he's kind of like yelling, like, he just has this weird yell to him that just feels like it's coming from hell or something like that. He just has this weird like way of just making everything feel like the end is about to come. That is just every time he sings, that's how he sings. It's like the last dying breath. That's he like gives it his all every time. And the way it sort of feels like he's warning you of something that's about to come. I love the way his voice sounds over these tracks. It's pretty unique in terms of like noise rock in general. I mean, you could compare some of these tracks to maybe other noise rock bands musically. Maybe you might come out with like Big Black, or maybe you might mention Lightning Bolt, but even still, they don't really have that similar sound that Daughters have in their music at all. I have seen a few comparisons to Swans as well, with the way like Swans build their tracks and hit crescendos. And yeah, perhaps there are some moments on here that aren't too dissimilar to Swans, but again, it's just a completely different sound and style and aesthetic that they're going for, like, just completely. I don't even think I could say now, like, To Be Kind gives me that anxiety-ridden feeling that the music does on here. I really don't think I could. Frantic instrumental that's just like clattering your head on the Lord song, and the way he's like, I cry about it, I cry about it. Holy shit, this guy, he's a hell of a performer, and I just feel every word that comes out of his mouth. Like, I just cannot shake that everything he says is just coming straight from the heart. It's unbelievable. Intensity matches emotions in such a unique way. Like, I can't begin to describe how the way they do this, and it's really impressive. I just feel like every track hits you with that wallowing feeling and hits you with those instrumentals. The band just play together in such a phenomenal fashion. It is just fantastic to listen to. Like, if you're wanting rock music in the modern day and you want something unique, you don't go to Greta Van Fleet. Go to this right here. Pretty much every track here is following this no wave trajectory that you probably would hear from like bands from like the 70s or 80s. James Chance and the Contortions, perhaps you might want to make a reference to, and of course, like I said, Swans back when they first started out. But there's the one track, The Reason They Hate Me, which has a bit more of like a groove and a bit more of a melody to it, which is really interesting, because whenever that track comes on, it always catches me off guard, because I just don't expect it coming, but it does it in a really good way, like as if like it's not out of place, but yeah, it still surprises you. Sort of more similar to the material on their self-titled album, which had a bit more melody to it, a bit more structure to it, whereas this no wave approach 8 years later has just taken them down this weird and disturbing path. This has only worked out for the better, because they have produced something pretty amazing this year. I must say, this is a wild experience from start to finish. Every listen I give this, I'm just so enthralled with everything going on. It is exhilarating, it's just heart pumping. It really is a chaotic album like no other, honestly, like no other. I think this has solidified them as being one of the best rock bands around right now, and of the decade for sure, because again, they've smashed out the park with a great release, and what they've given us here is what I can't even explain. Certainly not for everyone. I mean, if you're not really, you know, invested in no wave type music, this probably isn't going to be for you, but I think, yeah, there are going to be a lot of people loving this by the end of the year. Absolutely. Gonna go 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Yeah, man, this is phenomenal, and it's good to see that by the end of the year we're starting to get these fantastic releases cropping up, because for a while I was thinking, is 2018 been that good? But I've given 2 9s this month, so yeah, it's been pretty good. Let me know your thoughts on this album. I just know people are loving this just by going on Rating Music and hearing people talk about this. It is pretty fantastic, so I'm pretty much echoing what people have already said, I'm sure. But if you have any other thoughts, comment and let me know. If you don't like this, also let me know. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Have a good day. Cry about it. Cry about it.